All right, what's up, y'all? It's your man Derek Andre, and you're watching Who is Derek Andre TV. And we are about to get started. I got a very interesting topic for you today on Totally Disgusted. So before I get into it too deep, let's run that intro. This is Totally Disgusted with your host, Derek Andre. All right, y'all, I'm back. That's right. This is Totally Disgusted. I'm your host, Derek Andre, and I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you may be. It is a Friday in Georgia, and I'm assuming in a lot of places it's either Friday or Saturday or Thursday. I don't think we have any time spans in other parts of the world that would put us on Wednesday or Sunday. So I think it's either either Thursday or Saturday, wherever you may be watching this video. But whatever day it is, make it a great one. All right. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you're having a wonderful day. And if you're not, do everything you can to change it and don't screw nobody else's day up in the process. All right. All right. So listen, if this is your first time to the channel, I am inviting you right now cordially to subscribe as well as hit that reminder bell. So that way you never, and I repeat, never have to miss another video. All right. Never have to miss another video because these videos are pretty good, man. They really are. They are pretty doggone good. So let's get started. So all of my life, I've had to fight. Now, all of my life, I won't say all my life, but as I've become older, I'm starting to understand the importance of wealth and having money. I don't think that money is the root of all evil. I think that being broke could very well be the root of all evil. Now, the love of money, that can most definitely be the root of all evil. But just having money, I do not think that makes you a bad person. Because there are a lot of people who have a considerable amount of wealth that are just not bad people. Now, there are some people out there that have money that are for real a-holes. And so we know that. But I don't think that is the vast majority of people who have money. I believe that people who have earned money from the bottom, not inherited money, but earned money from building a business or building an empire, have a different approach to money and to wealth. And I don't think they have the tendencies to be jerks as people who've never ever had to struggle or work hard for anything. Okay. And so I do think that there is a difference between people who have money and people, who came from money and people who built money. All right. I believe that is a very true statement. And so, having said that, today's topic for this show is the 10 things that I will do with my wealth. Once I become a multi-millionaire, because I got all the infrastructure in place, y'all. I just need the people to shop. I got all the infrastructure in place right now as we speak. And I am not joking with y'all, man. I have been building for years, and I do mean years. I have been building a small little empire. The only thing that is missing are the people. I got the empire built, y'all. I got the empire built. Look at this. Let me show you. I've been working on this for quite some time now. Many years. All right. This is my website. This is how I plan on building my wealth, along with other things. This is kind of like the start. You know how like a lot of people start to get money in one way, like rappers. I'll use rappers for an example. Some rappers are like, you know what? There's a rapper named Chameleon. They were just doing a story on him not too long ago. He became a rapper not because he wanted to be a rapper. He became a rapper because he wanted to be able to get his hands on some money to do other things. And he did just that. He's invested in tech companies. He's invested in all sorts of stuff, man. And so he used his rap game money to be the foundation for his ultimate wealth that he was shooting for. And so he's done just that. And so this is my plan to build wealth. All right. So I've been working on this for a long time. And then when I go through this website, I ain't gonna stay on this website too long. I just want you to see a few things. But I got merchandise. All right. I got let's start at the end. I got wear. Okay, that's my clothing lines. All right. I got 2 clothing lines. I got Bum to Billions. All right. Bum to Billions and autographs. Okay. Bum to Billions is what I like to call my more upscale line. It's more geared towards higher quality material and things like that. And I got really cool Bum to Billions. So that's what B2B is, Bum to Billions. Bum is an acronym for breaking unhealthy mindsets. Because in order for you to develop or to attain any degree of wealth, you have to break the mindsets that you've had probably all of your life. If you come from, humble beginnings, okay? So you probably have had to you have to change how you view things and how you do things to a certain degree. So that's what this site is all about. And so I got all sorts of different clothes in here, man, and it's all designed by me. Every single thing you see on here is designed by me. All the images, with the exception of maybe a couple, are pictures that I've taken. So that's what I'm saying. So I got the infrastructure, y'all. I have books and stuff. Let me go back. All right, let me go back. Let's go to read. All right, I got read. You go to read, y'all. Look at this, man. Look, I have books for sale. This is my rap game, okay? I ain't no rapper, but I am a poet, okay? I am a poet, and I have several books to my credit, man. This is going to be my seed money, my foundation money. All I need, think about this. In order for me to become a millionaire, if I sell 10,000, which does not sound like a big number. It's a big number, but it doesn't sound like a big number in the concept and theme scheme of numbers. 10,000 ebooks would make me a millionaire. Like for real. Like for real. That would give me $1.4 million. 10,000 of them. Or was it 100,000? Maybe it's 100,000. Yeah, it's 100,000. I'm sorry, I did my math bad. My math is bad, y'all. My math was bad on that, but 100,000. That's still not a lot of people when you think about how many people there are on the planet. You know what I mean? When you look at a person's like social media platform, people that are celebrities, and you look at their social media platforms and they got 100 million. I'm like 100,000, boy, would change my life. That would be a game changer for me, man. But anyway, I could go on forever about, that. But I have built the infrastructure to start the ball rolling. Maybe I wouldn't become a millionaire from selling ebooks and, stuff like that. But, there's millionaire YouTubers. There's millionaire TikTokers. There's millionaire, well, I don't know about Instagram, but there's people that have made millions on Facebook and stuff like that. So there are platforms where you can become millionaires. And I think a lot of the people that have used those platforms to sustain their lifestyle and sustain their living, or even create their living, are probably not all bad people. And so here's what I plan to do as a millionaire, okay? This is what I plan to do as a millionaire once I start bringing in that money. All right, so I made this list. All right, I got a little notebook here. I made a list, all right? All right, so let me go through my list of things. I didn't memorize it. I just wrote it down. I just wanted to write it down because they say if you write it down and you speak it out loud, you help bring it into fruition. That helps the manifestation aspect of it, all right? So I wrote it down, all right? So I got 10 things that I plan to do as a millionaire once I get my money, all right? I'll be a multi-millionaire, all right? Number 1, the first thing I plan to do is buy what I like to call a forever home. And I call it a forever home because I'm 54 years old. And through years and decades of unfortunate events, I've had to move more times than I even want to discuss. I've only been evicted once. My family and I got evicted when we first moved to Georgia, and that was, again, due to work shortages and the job I came for falling through. But through layoffs and things like that, I have always had to move once starting probably in, I would say maybe 2000. I left for the Virgin Islands in 2002. So from 2002 until we moved into this place, we've been in this place now for 4 years. But so from 2002 until 2021, we've moved. Not just me and my wife. I didn't get married to my current wife until 2012. But I've moved more times than I actually want to discuss. But it's been like once every year or once every 2 years. Mainly because money would run out or something would happen. It would always be something. So the first thing that I would buy as a millionaire would be what I would like to call my forever house. And here's what I wrote. I would buy a forever home that will accommodate my entire family if necessary, with plenty of acreage for growth. This will keep us from ever having to move again. I will also own property in the Caribbean that is safe and looks out onto the sea. I want stability. I believe that becoming a millionaire will help me gain a degree of stability. I have been moving around my entire life. My very first move was from St. Louis to Baytown, Texas, when I was 15 years old. And I didn't even stay in that place long because my aunt and I, we moved. I got there and I was a junior in high school. Middle of my senior year, I had to move again. We went from Baytown, Texas to Beaumont, Texas. I am yearning for some real stability. I look at like my grandparents, they lived in the same house for like 70 years, 60, 50, 70, you know what I mean? My brother, he's been in his house for like 20 some odd years. All of my aunts and uncles, the homes that they bought, they have been in for decades, man. I want that. I want to know what that feels like. I don't want to keep moving around. I don't want to keep having to wait my leases up. I want to own my property. I want to live there until I die. Or until I decide I want to move. I don't want it to be somebody else's decision. I want to live in a home that I paid for with my money through my creative ventures and my business ventures. And I want to live there forever. That is why I call it my forever home. All right. So that's number one. Number two, I would pay off any outstanding debts. I don't like owing people. And so I have lived my life in a way that I've never really created a lot of debt, but always through layoffs and job shortages and things like that, I always end up in these weird predicaments. Like right now, my credit is basically trash because of the incident that happened with my car back last year in 2024 when my car went in the shop and I was never able to get it back. That was my primary source of income. And when that happened, that threw me for a loop. And so everything that I was bringing in basically just went towards keeping the utilities on where we live and keeping a roof over our head. So I couldn't pay credit card bills. So my bills ended up getting trashed. And then they ultimately ended up repossessing my car because I just couldn't. I struggled to keep that car for 8 months. But I finally ran out of money. And so they repossessed my car in May of this year. So I want to pay off all outstanding debts. I don't want to owe anyone. I want to pay bills ahead of time, pay them in full, pay them up front. I don't like owing. I don't like being late. So number two on my list of things that I will do as a multimillionaire is pay off all of my outstanding debts, mine and my wife's. Pay it completely off. Be done with that stuff. Anything, whatever it is that we got, pay it off. All right. The next thing, number 3, the third thing that I will do as a multimillionaire is I will buy several forms of transportation. And I mean several, not like a whole bunch of Lambos and Ferraris. And I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like, it would definitely be a couple of nice cars in my collection because I like really nice cars. But I'm talking about cars that I can drive on an everyday basis. And if something happens to it, I'm not stranded. I have currently been without transportation for 10 months. All because of what happened with my car back in October. I have not had transportation in 10 months. I have walked places. I've, had to catch the bus and done all. I don't want to be without transportation ever again. At least not because of something outside of me saying I don't feel like driving or I don't want to drive these cars anymore or whatever the case may be. I don't want to be put in the position where if something happens to my transportation, I don't have any alternatives. My grandmother used to always say, it's better to have and not need than to need and not have. And I would much rather have 4 or 5 reliable cars around the house so that if there ever comes a time where I need a car, or if I have friends and family come in town, they don't have to rent a car. I got 4 cars in the driveway, in the garage, or wherever. You can drive one of those. I come get you from the airport, take one of these cars, you can drive it around, you'll be fine. I want to make sure that I have enough transportation so that my family and I never have to be without transportation again. Now, I will be honest. There will be at least 2 supercars in my collection. There will be a Porsche 911 Targa GT4, GTS, Targa 4 GTS, and there will be a McLaren 675 LT in my collection at some point. Those will be my two babies. Then I would like to have, these are just cars that I want to have that I've always yearned, because most of the cars that I want that would be like in my collection are cars that I always desired. So 2 cars would be my father had a 67 Pontiac GTO before he died. He used to sit in my grandparents' backyard, and I used to go outside and I would sit in it. And then one day I came over and it was gone because they sent it to the junkyard because it had some front end damage. It was wrecked. So I would like to have a baby blue 1967 Pontiac GTO, manual transmission with a cue ball shift knob, because that's what my daddy's car looked like. And I would also like to have in my collection a 1970 Chevy Malibu, not a Chevelle, a Malibu. You see Chevelles all the time. Chevelles, on the back of the Chevelles, they have 2 round tail lights on each side. Malibus had rectangular tail lights. And so my mother had a green one. It was dark green with a white vinyl top, and it had white vinyl interior. I would like to have those in my collection as well to pay homage to my parents. All right. My dad is gone. He went on to glory back in 1975, but my mom is still here. And so, it would be cool for me to, get that car so she could see it. All right. So that would be number 3. 3 is purchase several forms of transportation so that I don't ever have to be without transportation again. All right. So number 4 is, this is when it starts to become more of me being a philanthropist than just thinking about myself. Because money is cool, but what good is money if you can't use it to help people that may not have access to the things that you have access to? So number 4 begins kind of the philanthropy part of me being a multimillionaire. So number 4 is set aside a fund to help family members that have verifiable hardships and kids in my family who would like to attend college but maybe can't afford it. There will also be a fund to assist family members who want to start businesses of their own. I believe that if I were a millionaire, or when I be, let me stop saying if I were. When I am a millionaire, I believe that because family members are going to find out, okay? Somebody somehow or another is going to find out that you have money that you did not have 6 weeks ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, whatever the case may be. Instead of avoiding, family members, what I've always dreamt of is putting together some sort of a fund, a fund with a designated amount of money in it that family members can pull from. In some cases, like for the businesses, it would actually be a loan, but it wouldn't be like a bank loan with all this, stringent rules and policies. But you do have to pay the money back. All right. And you do have to prove that this is the business that you are starting. You need to show up with a business plan, and you can't just come and say, hey, man, I want to start opening a barbershop. No, I need you to come with some numbers, and I need you to show me that I'm not just going to give you this money and then you're going to squander it all off, because if you do, you're going to mess it up for the rest of the family. All right. So if you want to start a business, I want to have a fund set aside so that my family members can come and they can get the startup capital that they need. Now, it may not be millions of dollars in there. It may be just, hundreds of thousands of dollars or whatever the case may be. But if you need 10 grand to start your lawn care business, to buy, your first couple of lawnmowers, we'll get you that 10 grand. You just make sure you replace that money with a little bit of interest, not crazy interest, but just enough so that the fund can continue to grow for other family members. As for like students, if you got my little cousins and stuff, little nieces and nephews, or great nieces and nephews, whatever the case may be, if they want to go away to college and they don't have the means, I want there to be a fund available for them to be able to say, hey, I got money for books and a meal plan, but I don't have money for housing. Can I go to the Brown Fund and get money for housing for this semester or this, until they can, get it together. All right. And we can do that. And as far as the hardships go, because I know for a fact full well that people run up on hard times. So I feel like if you are behind on your rent and it's verifiable because you're laid off, not because you went to the casino and you gambled your money away, or not because, you drug up or drank up your money, but if you had a layoff or you had something catastrophic happen in your life, I would love to have a family fund in place that can help family members not lose their home or not lose their car or keep their lights on and things like that. So that would be number 4. Number 4 would be create a fund to help my family members that may be in need, or that may be wanting to become entrepreneurs, or the students wanting to become students but may not have the funds. All right. Number 5. Number 5 is important to me. This is the 5th way that I would help as a philanthropist, as a multimillionaire. Number 5 would be I would generously donate to the organizations that help my family and I during our hard times. And so I put that one in there because we've been through it, man. I done had to go to food pantries. I've had to get rental assistance. I've had to get help with utilities. I've had to do all of those things, man. And, those organizations, especially nowadays with all the stuff that's happening in the world, those organizations can use funding. A lot of the food pantries, when you go to a food pantry, a lot of the food pantries, the food that they give you is not always the freshest. It's better than nothing, but it's not always the freshest. And so I would be, as a multimillionaire, I would go to the food pantries that I know that help me, and other food pantries as well, but I would definitely start with the ones that help my family and I would make sure that they had food to give to families in need that is fresh. That is fresh. Not, I mean, the canned goods, canned goods last a long time, but sometimes the bread, the bread might have a day before expiration on it. Sometimes you get like frozen stuff or things like that. Some non-perishable stuff that is just cereal and stuff that's just at its expiration date. I would love to, as a multimillionaire, be able to donate funds to help food pantries and other organizations that help families in need, because I think that is necessary. I think that's just something necessary, and I know that there are organizations that do it and they get funding from other places. But as a person who has utilized those services, one of my greatest desires is to be able to give back. When we got evicted after we moved here in Georgia in 2018, we got evicted. We stayed in a hotel for almost a year. Okay, we stayed in the hotel for almost a year, and it wasn't until I went to pawn my laptop. I had one piece of equipment left from my production company, Lifelong Productions. I had a laptop left, a MacBook, and I was taking it to the pawn shop, and there was a lady at the pawn shop, and she was like, "What's wrong, sir? You look like you are about to just completely go to pieces." And so I explained to her what the situation was, and so she told me about this organization called Homestretch. And one of the things that I wanted to do as a multimillionaire is to donate to that organization, because they helped my family and I get out of that hotel and gave us an opportunity with dignity to get back on our feet. And so one of the things that I've always pledged to do as a symbol of generosity is to donate to that organization, because they need furniture for the units that people live in. They need things. And so I wanted to be one of the people that sponsored a unit, because we had a church that sponsored our unit. And so I wanted to sponsor the unit that we lived in for, if nothing more than at least a year or two. And so that is definitely one of the things that I have planned. Number 6 on my list of things to do as a multimillionaire. Number 6 is anonymously help families struggling with rent who need gas, money to daycare expenses, grocery transportation, etc. When I don't know if anybody that'll watch this video has ever been in a position where they needed rental assistance. They needed help paying their rent. The things you have to do, and I understand it, because you have to have a paper trail, because there's donations and all this. There's people that are donors, and you got to be able to prove where the money went. So I get that, but the paper trail and the hoops that you have to jump through in order for you to get the assistance that you need can sometimes be quite daunting. And I've always had this vision to just find apartment communities in neighborhoods that might be having a challenging time. I grew up in St. Louis City. I grew up in the hood. So I kind of know the signs of neighborhoods that might need a little bit of assistance. And I would love to contact the management company that owns those properties and find out how many people are behind on their rent, and just pay their rent to give those people an opportunity to breathe, to give them a chance to get it together so that they don't have to. Because once you go into the eviction phase, man, it's almost impossible for you to come back from it, because they hit you with all of these fees. And the fees, especially in Georgia, I don't know about other places. The only place I've ever been evicted from was an apartment community here in Georgia. And every single day, more and more fees, more and more fees. By the time they get done with you, you are so deeply into debt that it is not even funny. And so I would love to just be able to contact a management company or management companies and be like, hey, how many people do you have currently in ABCXYZ apartment community that are behind on their rent? And just pay their rent to keep people from getting evicted. I would love to go to the gas station and just pay for a day's gas so that people can come in and not have to worry about gas, because I know what it feels like to go to the gas station and literally put $3 in my gas tank. And gas is $2.89. $3. You understand? So I know what that feels like, you know? I want to be able to go to the grocery store and just pay for people's groceries. Just leave, say, hey, here's $10,000. Pay for as many people's groceries or many people's food items as you can with this $10,000. When it's gone, it's gone. I'll see y'all in a month or so. That's the kind of stuff that I want to do, because I know what it feels like to be in need and to wish that somebody would do those things for me, okay? Number 7, as a millionaire, I would donate to struggling HBCUs, museums, and certain businesses if I can. I remember when I worked in radio back in the early 2000s, it was 2005, and I remember reading an article. It was a black history museum. I forget what state it was in. This was a few years ago. I forget what state it was in, but they were in jeopardy of their doors closing. Okay. And all they needed was like maybe $5,000. The amount that they needed was not something so astronomical that there was just no way. It could have been just, but they didn't get it, and the doors actually ended up closing on this Black History Museum. And that bothered me. You know, it bothers me when I hear about HBCUs and, you know, all of these other establishments that are owned by people of color and they're run by people of color that struggle with, you know, with dorms. You know, these kids need dorms. They don't have air conditioning and all that. You know, these PWIs, they got all sorts of money coming in, man, and they have fantastic. I lived in Oxford, Mississippi. University of Mississippi, they had great facilities, but you got a lot of old money that makes sure that those facilities maintain their greatness. We need to do that for ours. And so as a multimillionaire, I would love to be one of the people that will say, you know what, let me pay for the air conditioning unit so that these buildings can have AC. What is it, $250,000, $300,000? All right, bet. Let me just go ahead and cut you a check. I'll have my accountant get over with you, blah, blah, blah. Yes, those are the things that I would like to do for businesses and struggling HBCUs and things like that. Number 8. All right, now I'm going back to family. All right, this number 8 is what I would do as a multimillionaire for my family. All right, I will create a fund for my future grandchildren to give them a stable financial footing so that they don't have to go through the things and the trials that I did. You know, I hear a lot of people talk about, yeah, you know, my kids, I ain't leaving them nothing, man, because I had to come up from the mud. They got to come up from the mud too. So there's a part of me that gets that. I mean, truthfully, I ain't gonna lie to you. There's a part of me that gets that, because as crazy as it sounds, it's the truth, but struggle builds character. You know, if you have an appreciation. I'll give you an example. My daughter, her first cell phones we were getting for her. They be broke up, screen be cracked up. She'd be leaving them, losing them, all kind of stuff. The moment she had to pay for her own phone, she began to treat it differently. Same way with her car. She had to save her money to buy her car. She takes care of that car because she had to work hard to get the money to. So I do understand the concept of, I want to make sure that they know how to build it. Because I always said I never wanted to just luck into money. Okay, I never wanted to be like a lottery winner, anything like that. Because what happens is if you just accidentally find your way into wealth, something happens. If something happens, you don't know how to replicate it and rebuild that wealth. You just don't know how to do it. You can't go back to the gas station and buy another lottery ticket and know exactly which numbers to pick to win the lottery again. You don't know that. But if you build your foundation, if you build your business from the ground up, you have a knowledge, a working knowledge of exactly what it takes for you to be able to rebuild it if something happens. And that's so I get that. So that's why I'm like, okay, so there is a degree, there's a part of me that understands why I hear some celebrities say, hey, yeah, I ain't leaving my kids, no money. I had to get it, they're gonna have to get it too. But at the same time, I feel like you don't have to give it to them all at once. I think it should be available to them, but only maybe under maybe dire circumstances. But I would like to make sure that I leave some money for my great-grandchildren, my grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and even my children, so that they can have an opportunity at things that maybe will keep them from having to struggle as much. Because, I understand the concept behind what struggle can do for you, but at the very same time, the mental toll that struggle takes on you is crazy, man. It's locked in my other laptop, but I had a PDF that I wrote, and I'm gonna try to rewrite it. It was on financial trauma. A lot of people don't understand what financial trauma is, man. Financial trauma can do some for real damage to you if you start off struggling with money at an early age. I did. I started off before I was 25, man. I had filed bankruptcy. I had checks going. I was paying child support. It was things happening to me that I didn't even know what they were. I was afraid to answer the phone. I was afraid to check the mail. And that stuff followed me, man, because that's what the trauma is. The trauma is, it ain't like a car accident. The likelihood of you having the same car accident twice is just virtually impossible. But if it's financial trauma, that happens monthly, weekly, sometimes daily. Money just be messed up. And if it messes with you and it makes you fearful of things at an early age, if you can't get around it, and it's not just about earning more money, because once the damage is done, then you have the fear of losing the money. So you have to have a complete and total mind change set. You gotta completely rewire yourself if you struggle from financial trauma as a young person. So, but that's for a whole nother video. Okay. So that was number 8. All right. What's number 9? Number 9 starts to kind of get into some fun stuff, some things that, I would enjoy doing. And I'm pretty sure there's other things that I would do, once I'm a multi-millionaire. But these are just 10 things that are high on my list of priorities. Number 9 is I would travel the world with my family to create lasting memories of the good times, with hopes that they would overshadow all of the bad things that we've had to go through to get to that point. I don't want to forget them, but I just want to have something to pivot to, some good times. I want to travel the world. My son has been to 30 countries. He just turned 30. Let me see. He's 93. I don't even know how old he is. He's 33. Just 30 countries, man. You know what I mean? That's mind blowing. And I have not got a chance to go to a single country with him. I want to travel with my wife, my son, my daughters, my mother, just see the world, man. Just go and live and not have to worry about how long it's going to take, how long we're going to be gone, and when we got to come back, where we going to stay. When you have money, to the best of my knowledge, it gives you options. So if you want to travel and you want to travel and say you want to rough it, you just want to, you want to live in, stay in whatever community, whatever, whatever. You want to sleep outside or whatever, however you want to travel. But having money gives you the opportunity to change your mind. And so that's what I want to do with my family. I want to travel with my family, see the world, go places, do things, create memories that will last with them forever, especially once I'm gone. Once I'm gone, I want my children to be like, I remember that time, we went to Zimbabwe. Oh, I remember we went to Greece. Oh, I remember we went to Chile. I remember we went to such and such. I want those type of memories to be what my children can grasp and hold on to once I'm gone. I want to build those type of, I don't care nothing about Christmas presents and buying stuff that's going to end up getting broken or dirty over there. I want to go and travel and see the world with my family, with my children, and just have a really good time and enjoy life. That is number 9 on my list. And number 10 is probably my favorite thing on this list to do. So my wife and I, we have been married since 2012. All right. We were supposed to have a wedding, but I was laid off at the time, and it just seemed like we were planning a wedding, but without the funds and things just kept going wrong. We were unable to actually have a wedding. So one of the things that I would love to do as a multi-millionaire is give my wife the wedding of her dreams. Just let her go crazy planning whatever it is that she wants to plan. I know she ain't going to spend no millions of dollars on no wedding. I ain't even worried about that. But just to let her plan the wedding of her dreams, invite her family members, my family members, and just get together and just celebrate our union. We've been trying to do this for so long, but we can't ever get the footing long enough to actually have a wedding. And it's not about the wedding, but it's about, my wife likes fairy tale type stuff. That's just who she is. And I knew that going into this. I knew that marrying my wife meant that she likes going to formal things. She likes ball gowns and she likes fancy stuff. I'm an old construction worker, so I'm like jeans and t-shirts. But my wife likes things that she didn't get to do growing up. So she has always fantasized about going to different galas and things like that. And having a wedding was something that she has always talked about. And we just had never been able to do it. So as a multimillionaire, I would definitely love to give my wife the wedding of her dreams. So that's my list, y'all. That's my list of the 10 things I would do as a millionaire, as a multimillionaire. And I don't want to be a multimillionaire to be frivolous. I have no desire to be frivolous whatsoever. I don't want to be, I'm not going to be buying no gold chains, no diamonds and all that kind of, I could care less. And I mean it. I could care less about that kind of stuff. Cars, yes, I like cars, so there will always be cars in my future. I don't even care about a big, gigantic home. I don't care about that. Now, do I want land? Yes, I do want some land. And I would like a decent sized home so that we could spread out a little bit and finally unpack every box. You know what I mean? I have collected all of these Hot Wheels over the years. I want a space where I can have what I like to call my car showroom, where I got this vision of just having a wall in my garage, in my showroom, that is just layered with Hot Wheels cars. that I've been collecting. I got 1/18 scale model cars that I would like to have a display case for. Yeah, so there are some extravagant things that I'd like to do, but for the most part, I want to be wealthy for the security of it. Because I'm tired of things going wrong and not having the means to take care of them when they happen. I like to be, I get to a point where I get frustrated when I see things and I'm like, oh man, I'd love to get that. But then I come back later and it's gone because I didn't have the money. So I don't want to have money to go out and see, if I could buy the most expensive boots or the most expensive watches. I don't care about those things. Having wealth for me does not mesh with gaudy. It does not mesh with wasteful. It does not mesh with just being goofy. I want to have wealth so that if my children need something, I can provide it for them without anybody having to break a sweat. You know what I mean? If we decide one day, hey, you know what? Let's take a family trip and go. I want to be able to just say, all right, I'll pay for it. Just make sure you're at the airport on this day at this time, whatever, or just I'll meet y'all at the destination, whatever. I'll meet you in Bali. You know what I mean? I want the money for the convenience, not to show off, the same stuff I'm wearing today. I would wear as a wealthy person. The only difference would be it'd be my brand. Just all the clothes I would wear would be from my brand because I like my clothing. This ain't my brand, but that. So that's what wealth to me is, being able to use the money as a tool to help yourself and your family, and to also help others that are in need, and not just for the sake of doing it on social media. I'm not putting nothing that I do on social media. The help that I plan to give people will be anonymous. I don't need you to know who I am. I'm not looking for likes and follows and all of that kind of stuff. I would do it just for the sake of doing it because it needs to be done. All right, y'all. So that's my show for today, y'all. Thank you very much for tuning in. Like I said, if in the comments, give me a Cliff Notes version of what you would do if you were a multi-millionaire. And have fun with it. That's my 10 things was just my 10 things. If you want to put down there 10 times, I'm going to buy a Lamborghini Murcielago. I'm going to buy a Lamborghini Aventador. I'm going to buy a Ferrari SF90. I'm going to buy, if you just want to put down 10 cars, if you want to put, I'm just going to buy all the, put down whatever it is that you would do as a multi-millionaire. And just have fun with it, man. Just have fun with it, all right? So just let me know what you would do in the comments, all right? All right. So I appreciate y'all, man. Be peace, be love, be one. Remember, if you're new to the channel, please, by all means, hit that subscribe button and the reminder bell so that you never have to miss another video. And I'm going to get out of here because I've been on here for 48 minutes, y'all. That's a whole ass video. So I'm going to get out of here. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching. Please, by all means, share this video. Tell a friend. And, by the way, just when you get a few minutes, because I need y'all to make this a reality. When you get a few minutes, go ahead and stop by this website right here. Come on here, stop by this website right here, and make yourself a few purchases. This is my website, DerekAndre.com. All right, DerekAndre.com. Stop by, man, and pick yourself up something nice, because in order for me to ever become a millionaire, I'm going to have to sell more books and t-shirts and music and stream some more of these videos and things of that nature until I can do some other stuff, because I got some other plans. But in order for me to do other things I have planned, I need some seed money. So, but yeah, by all means, swing by my website and pick yourself up something nice, pick yourself up something for a loved one, things of that nature. All right, so. All right, that's it, y'all. I'm going to get out of here. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video. Peace. Thanks for tuning in to Totally Disgusted. Make sure to like, comment, and tell a friend.